Hi, everyone. Welcome to the NCL Recruiter Pitch Day event. I'm Emily Calandranis, the Director of Development and Partnerships on behalf of the National Cyber League. The mission of the NCL is to bridge curriculum to careers, supporting our community with resources to help students begin their cybersecurity careers. We're thrilled to have so many of you join us today to learn about exciting opportunities with our wonderful partners and take those next steps towards the cyber role of your dreams. Please note this session will be recorded and you will be able to see this on LinkedIn and the NCL YouTube channel. We encourage you to share with others in your circle and connect with the presenters post-event. Today, we have 5 incredible companies that will be sharing about open entry-level roles and internship opportunities, as well as sharing about company culture and community. Please keep in mind that not every organization will be a one-size-fits-all. Be open to the opportunities that are being shared. And even if there aren't any roles that pertain to you right now, use this event to network and grow your connections. Each presenter will be given 8 minutes to share, and representatives will be popping into the chat to connect with the audience. Throughout the entire event, there's going to be the chat box on the right-hand side where you're going to be able to ask questions and interact with our presenters. And if we have time towards the end of the webinar, we're going to go ahead and pick a handful of questions to present live. For our audience members, we'll be sending out a post-event experience survey. We'd love to hear your feedback and appreciate you taking the time filling out the survey, sharing your experience so we can make sure we bring other events like this to you throughout the season. Okay, so that's all for the housekeeping. We're going to go ahead and get started with Hope from Tanium. Hope, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Hey everyone, my name's Hope Barnes. I'm with University Recruiting here at Tanium. It's so good to see everybody in the chat today. I see Benito, I see Michael, Lee, I see everybody just jumping in here. It's really exciting to see so many names that are people who are coming back this year from previous presentations like this one, but we're just at Tanium, we're so excited to be here again this year, and for me to be presenting and talking to you about some of our early career opportunities here at Tanium. My colleague Carissa Saylor will be in the comments if you guys have questions as we're going. So type away, and it's good to see you all. I see everybody saying hi. And so we're just going to get started. I'm going to talk a little bit about Tanium and like who we are. I know some of you might not have heard that name before. And then we'll talk about our positions, open positions, because I know that's what you all want to hear about. So if you could go to the next slide for me. So the first thing I want to say is just Tanium's technology is really what has made us so exciting, I think, in the market that we're in. We're in the cybersecurity and IT industry. And the big differentiator that we sought to solve when we were founded back in 2007 is that the IT networking community is growing, and also that companies are having more and more endpoints that are added into their IT infrastructures. And as that gets bigger and bigger, the traditional ways of structuring security they don't scale as well. And so we sought to solve that. So next slide. Thank you. So really what we are delivering is something called converged endpoint management. It's a patented architecture that allows us to be able to talk to endpoints directly rather than having to go through a server, trying to go through a database. And it actually, I know some of these slides are a little messed up here, but it's just because I sent the format over to Emily. So maybe some of them got a little messed up on the way there, but you'll have to forgive me for that. So it allows us to have visibility into every single endpoint, and we can do it instantly and manage those in real time. We can remediate, investigate, and just the way that we're able to do this in the speed and scale is what has allowed us to kind of gain some traction in the market. We've had a great partnership with Microsoft, especially this past year, selling on their Azure Marketplace, and we're really helping make a difference in the industry. Next slide, please. I just wanted to point out, like, this is a little bit how our architecture works. It directly talks to the endpoints and makes it so that, in seconds, you can see exactly what you have rather than the traditional, like, kind of wheel and spoke kind of architecture. So it's very, very fast. But next slide, because I know what you all want to hear about is our internship program, right? And also our early career positions here at Tanium. The main thing I'm going to focus on while we're here is our what we call our customer org, or our technical account manager org here at Tanium. Really what they are doing is they're a team of world-class IT and networking professionals who really love working with people and kind of talking them through technology, how to work with technology. And we have a great early career program for helping folks get into that. So we've actually hired folks from Cyber Skyline into this program before in full-time kind of early new grad, early career positions. And then we also have our internship program as well. So I want to talk about, we could talk about requirements for this. Our internship program is specifically for folks who are enrolled in a university program. That could be, a 2-year university program, could be like a bachelor's degree, but we look for folks who are graduating in, right now, we're looking for summer 2025 interns. This is a summer internship program. And we're looking for that fall 2025 grads or spring 2026 grads. And we're hiring them right now. You can see those openings are on our website. They're also on Cyber Skyline's job board. You can scan this QR code to take a look at those. The GPA is not as hard and fast, but I will say you do have to be enrolled in school, and we can't provide US work authorization for this one, just so you all know. But we're really just looking for folks who love that kind of aspect of working with people, kind of talking them through technology, helping solve customer problems, and working with our technology to really solve those. And so that might look like, maybe you have some IT help desk experience, you've had some customer problem solving experience, you love that, but you're also really heavy on that technical side as well. You've got at least some kind of computer networking background. You've taken a few classes in that. You've worked maybe with some VMs or Linux. Kind of understand that kind of basic coursework, basic stuff. How does the internet work? How does, the actual inner workings of a computer, how does that work? So that's the stuff that we look for in this internship. It is a 10-week internship, and it's also hybrid. It is out of our Addison, Texas office. Or as a company, we've really moved toward hybrid more and more this past year. And the real reason we found that works so well for early career is because, you can just go over to somebody in the office and ask them a question. It's such a better experience. We found our interns have had even really, really great feedback this past year of when you're an intern, when you're in early career, to really be able to soak up that knowledge and also have the community of being in person while still having the flexible hybrid, you're able to work remote from home 2 days a week. So that's worked really well for our team. For this specific role, I see some of the questions in the chat. We don't sponsor or H-1B or anything like that for this specific role. We might be able to do it for other roles, but you'd have to take a look in our in the job description. It will say whether we can do that or not. All right, we can go, I guess, to the next slide. I want to talk a little bit about our full-time opportunities because I know that a lot of you are probably looking for that. We do offer entry-level opportunities, especially on our technical account management team. But right now, we don't have openings for that posted immediately. I would definitely stay in touch. This is a great form you can fill out that we can email you when those do open up, and keep looking on our careers page because we're always that is a part of the business we're expanding, and we can expect those to be continuing to open up throughout this past couple of years. Like I've said, in the past, we have hired folks from Cyber Skyline into these roles. And GPA is not really important for this one because you've already, a lot of you either already graduated or you don't necessarily have to have like a 4-year degree for this, but we want to make sure that you have at least some experience, some solid experience in like IT networking, kind of operations, maybe a little bit of scripting and programming, but it's when we say 1 to 3 years of experience, we're not talking about you need to have like tons of necessarily like years of like full-time work experience. That could look like school, that could look like internships, that could look like some other stuff. So this is definitely still like early career for us here. And you have to have that passion for technology, willingness to learn, all that stuff. We love just the community that we built out of our Addison office, and it's a great community for these folks to be in. So any questions about that? Carissa can kind of jump into the chat to be talking about that. You can look on specific job descriptions as those pop up for location. Likely they will be out of that Addison, Texas office hybrid. And like we said, that is just worked really well for being able to train folks and having them really feel successful in their career and enjoy it. But yeah, that's a little bit about that. Let's go to the next slide. I want to talk a little bit about like our early career internship program, kind of the benefits for the internships, because that's what we're hiring for right now. There is competitive hourly pay for that. It's $27 an hour out of our Addison office. It's listed in the job description. And we do have 401k matching. We have one-on-one mentorship. You're assigned with a mentor in addition to your manager, in addition to all the interactions you're having with interns in the office. So you're really getting that kind of, you're jumping in, you're diving in, getting that experience. The hybrid work schedule is one thing, but we want to make sure you're getting that community and feeling supported. The goal, obviously, for us is to convert you to full-time after graduation. So that's another exciting perk. You kind of have that security, and we love to see that for people who perform really well during the internship. And we have a great program for just trying to make sure you're connected. So we have jam-packed calendar. We've got professional development. We've got volunteering opportunities. One of my favorite things that we do here at Tanium for interns is we actually have a weekly speaker series where the C-suite actually jumps on a Zoom, like a different C-suite member will jump on a Zoom and chat with the students, and you get to actually ask them directly questions. You can they get to tell you about their story. But it's just really exciting to see our kind of cohort here. And overall at Tanium, we're going to have more interns than we've ever had this year. We're going to have over 60 interns across the board in the US. So it's going to be a really exciting summer. I hope to see some of you apply. And again, Carissa will be able to answer some of those questions in the chat. Thank you all for your time. I really appreciate it. You can go to the next slide, I guess, really quickly. If you see in Cyber Skyline's job board, the customer success internship and solutions engineering internship, very similar to the support technical account management one that we've talked about. You're working directly with customers on that technical side, very similar qualifications. So take a look at that as well if you're interested. And these are the same QR codes that were on the slides previously. But thank you so much, friends. Really love chatting with you. And hopefully this information was helpful. Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much, Hope. And if you have any questions, just like she said, go ahead and put them in the chat box, and Carissa and Hope will be happy to answer those questions. All right, so we're going to go ahead and mosey on towards Cipher Tech Solutions. Kathy, how are you?
I am fine. Thank you for having us again this year. It's really exciting to be here, and welcome to everyone that is plugging away fast and furious in the comment section. I'll let you know that right now I am the only person with my company, so it's going to take me a second to get to your comments. Can everyone hear me okay? It looks like my slides just popped up. I'm going to take that as a yes. So there we go. Thanks. So again, I'm Catherine McMillian, the recruiting lead for Cipher Tech. You may have heard of us in the past or just recently elsewhere, but what we do is digital forensics, and we've been around since 2006. We're a small federal contractor, and the work that we offer is extremely mission-driven. Our headquarters is located in Vienna, Virginia, and we also have multiple offices in Maryland, Florida, and most recently, Alabama, which is pretty exciting for us. You can think of each of these locations as a digital forensic lab, each with its own special mission support. The work's either federal crimes, counterintelligence, or counterterrorism related. We predominantly staff software developers who write code in support of digital forensics, which can be broken down into two missions, one of them being traditional digital forensic tool development and automation, and the other malware reverse engineering. But we also staff teams of digital forensic examiners, cyber intel analysts, and sometimes all-source analysts. But working here literally gives you a chance to wake up each morning using your keyboard to help protect national security. The same two gentlemen who founded this company are still running it today. We have a really, I think it's really nice. Employees here have a strong voice with company owners, as well as the opportunity to grow under their direct guidance. Once you get the foot in the door here, you can also largely self-direct your career. And that's one of the things that employees often say has been really nice for them. Some things that set Cipher Tech apart, in addition to all of that, are our commitment to creating a healthy work-life balance and our low turnover rate. And most importantly, in the life of our company, and again, we were founded in 2006, we've never had to let any software developer go due to lack of work. And I think that's pretty exciting. Okay, and if you can slip to the next slide, there we go. As you can see, we hire various types of software developers and reverse engineers. At the entry level, while we have some hybrid work for front end, most of the software development is on the back end. The main programming languages that we use are Java, Python, C, C++, C#, and it's helpful also if someone can read or write assembly. Now, this is really important because I get this question all the time. While we have full-time work to offer, we currently do not have an internship program, and that's just not this year. For the foreseeable future, we don't have an internship program. Okay, Franz, if you can move to the next slide, please. So applicant guidelines are strict. Everyone who applies must be willing and eligible to be sponsored for a U.S. government security clearance. We do not have any uncleared work to offer. A college degree is really, really important and required. All developer and engineer job listings require that you have either completed a degree in one of our acceptable degree types or that you are within 12 months of graduation. The core makeup of our company are those with computer science degrees, computer engineering, electrical engineering, or math. However, some of our reverse engineer positions will accept other degrees, including cybersecurity. And finally, an applicant must be willing to work on site. Due to the sensitive nature of the work that we perform, in most cases, remote work is absolutely not an option. And the next slide, please. So there's a few QR codes for you. If you want to jump in and apply to a few of the positions, those are some of our most popular listing. You can also view the Cyber Skyline job board or visit ciphertechsolutions.com to view all of the job postings. And please note that we are perpetually hiring at all levels to include true entry-level positions with no prior experience. Prior experience helps, but it's okay if you do not have anything post-graduation for some of the seats that we offer. Part of our hiring process is a technical challenge. A lot of people in our realm like to solve tasks, attend CTFs, hackathons. So this is something along those lines. If you apply to a developer or reverse engineer position, and if your application is approved, we are going to issue a job-specific technical challenge. And here's the fun part. If you pass it, we're going to grant your interview instantly. So if you have any questions, please email us at recruiting@ciphertechsolutions.com. And don't forget to scan the QR code to network with us. Upon completing your network form, you'll receive an auto-generated email with some great information about our company to include some day-in-the-life examples of the work that our employees perform, as well as some pretty awesome study guide recommendations. But thank you so much for listening. I hope that I've piqued your interest in a career at Cipher Tech Solutions. We look forward to receiving your application. And now that I've finished reading, I'm going to go back through the chat, see what questions I can answer. Thank you so much.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Kathy. And once again, if you have questions for Kathy or Cipher Tech Solutions, please go ahead and put them in the chat. And we're going to go ahead and now move towards Melanie from CrowdStrike. Hi, Melanie.
Hi, Emily. Thank you so much for having us today, and thank you, Franz, for working the decks here. Hi, everyone in the chat. My name is Melanie. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm one of our university recruiters on CrowdStrike's university recruiting team. And I'm excited to be here today. It's my first NCL pitch day. So, Franz, can we head over to the next slide, please? Thank you. I would love to invite you all to stay in touch with us. So I'll have this slide at the very end as well. And I'm going to drop the link in the chat as well. There we go. This is an opportunity for you all to be able to stay connected with us, as after this event, my team will go ahead and send out a follow-up email with all of you, including the links and resources that I talk about today. So next slide, please, Franz. We are going to head into it. The agenda for today, we just started off with that welcome. I'm going to chat a little bit more about CrowdStrike, some of our core values, an overview of our summer internship, which is going to be the meat and potatoes of today, and then we'll wrap up with a short Q&A. Alrighty, so heading into the next slide, we have just a general overview of CrowdStrike and our history. And we actually got started back in 2011. We were founded based with this mentality that the sophisticated attacks, they just could not be solved with outdated malware-based defenses. And so our solution, and what really became the foundation of our company, was to pair cloud-native endpoint protection with expert intelligence to help us stop breaches. And that's what brings us to present day. We are over 9,000 CrowdStrikers strong across 25 global offices. And we also do have a handful of remote teams and folks all over the world. And so pretty much wherever you go, you'll be able to find a CrowdStriker. So our focus here, we have 4 of them on the slide. This is what creates our foundation. Our foundation with endpoint protection. We have our incident response and strategic advisory services, pairing it with threat intelligence, as well as managed hunting to ensure that we have proper coverage for all of our customers here. So with that in mind, of course, I would be remiss to not talk about our core values here, because as you all previously saw in the previous slide, we do have our technical side, but here, this is how we do things. We do things by being fanatical about the customers. We are relentlessly focused on innovation, and we operate on the idea that limitless passion creates unlimited potential. And this last core value actually is one that is near and dear to my heart, especially in recruiting, because we want to be able to grow and nurture talent that we have here at CrowdStrike. And so hopefully with a lot of conversations that you may have with CrowdStrikers in the past and also down the line, that you'll be able to see these core values shine through. So with all this in mind, hopefully this piques your interest in our intern program. I did want to highlight the photo here is actually from our most recent class of interns when we brought a handful of them over to our office in DC for a conference. But getting into the intern program itself, as we head into the next slide here are some highlights. Depending on the team that you might be interested in, we have an 8 to 12 week experience. Most of our programs, they do run for 12 weeks, with the exception of our sales team. For those of you who might be interested in maybe being a sales engineer or a solution architect, that program does run for 8 weeks, and it also will be in person based out of our Austin, Texas office. But regardless of the program, we of course want to be able to provide an outstanding experience for all of you. And I also did want to call out that we do have a launch program, which is specifically for any sophomore students or students who are within 2 years of graduating. And this is to provide additional professional development opportunities for this group, a more curated experience, and also an opportunity to continue to network with CrowdStrike a little bit more throughout the tenure of their college program. And so again, regardless of what program you might be, if you're here for 8 weeks or 12 weeks long, we want to ensure that all of our interns, they do have an assigned mentor, they're working on impactful projects, and that they also have lots of opportunities to attend lots of our intern events, to be able to network with each other and socialize, and have an opportunity to really dive in deep into CrowdStrike's culture here. And of course, I want to spend a moment to highlight a few of our perks. We do have paid holidays. So yes, this is also, we do have paid internships. And we also do have a 401k perk for our interns as well. In addition to some fun swag items, volunteer time off, we have our Falcon Fit program, which is our initiative for well-being. And we also have access to Modern Health, which is a great platform for any professional coaching or also mental health resources and so much more. And so these are, this really on this slide is just our internship in a nutshell here. So heading into our internship opportunities, I know there is a lot listed on here, so I want to take a moment in case if any of y'all wanted to screenshot this or be able to jot some of the roles down here. At the moment, my team does not have any open internship opportunities. We're currently wrapping up our summer 2024 program right now, but we are planning to jumpstart our recruiting events this fall, as well as be able to promote our openings soon. But in the meantime, these are a handful of the roles that we've recruited in the past. I split them up into 4 different buckets here based on general interest in a more broad sense. And so for any of y'all who are looking for your standard cybersecurity sort of positions, which I'm sure a lot of you might be if you're attending any sort of NCL event, we do have our traditional SOC analysts, any sort of DFIR internship opportunities. We also have a really strong program within our counter-adversary operations department, which houses our intelligence as well as our Overwatch teams. And they have a lot of internship opportunities as well. And I also did want to bring back a few of our roles under our sales department, again, such as our sales engineering team. They do look for folks who do have a strong background and interest in cybersecurity, as you do get to play with a lot of our products and be able to showcase that to our customers. And then I'm moving into the other bucket. Oh, sorry, Franz, can we go back to that slide, the previous slide real quick? Thank you. I also did want to call out some of our roles within the IT and also software and data buckets here. Again, a lot of these teams, they don't require a background in cybersecurity, but they do love to see students who are passionate about cybersecurity. So again, if that is any of you here, definitely feel free to apply. And then in the last bucket, I always love to include that we do have a handful of roles for business students. So again, cybersecurity background is not required, but it is a nice little perk if you are you want to be able to combine a handful of interests there. So with that in mind, definitely keep an eye out for those. And then Franz, we can head into the next slide, please. Thank you so much. We have here on the slide our overview of our application and interview process. So of course, it all starts out with applying for the role. For any of our technical roles, for example, anything under the or a lot of our roles under the cybersecurity bucket or our software and data bucket, they will have a technical assessment component to it. But for any of the other roles, they do not. And so folks will be shuffled over into the interview portion, which would include a recruiter screen and up to 2 interviews with a hiring team. And so all in all, we hope to be fairly speedy with this process. From start to finish, it shouldn't take longer than 2 months from the moment you apply to the finish line there. Awesome. And now heading into the next slide here, just so we can continue the conversation and stay in touch, I encourage all of you to check back on our careers page later this fall, as we will begin recruiting for these opportunities on a rolling basis. And I also encourage you all to join our talent community. Again, with the link that I had dropped in the chat earlier, this in the follow-up email, you all will be invited to join our talent community through there as well. And then lastly here, we have our email. If you do have additional questions, feel free to email us at university.recruiting@crowdstrike.com. And I'm also going to drop that in the chat here. Awesome. And then heading into the next slide, so now I'm running out of time. Oh, perfect. That was just the final slide. Amazing. I know I see a lot of questions in the chat. I am a one-woman team today, so I'm going to go ahead and answer them in chat. But to be mindful of time, Emily, I am going to hand it back over to you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Melanie. And you did get some good questions, I saw. And some people are actually answering questions in the chat for attendees, helping attendees. So thanks for doing that. And thanks so much for sharing, Melanie. All right, now we're going to move towards SimVentions. And we have Tiffany who is going to kick us off. Hi, Tiffany.
Hi, thank you for having us today. This is our first time participating in an NCL Recruiter Pitch Day. So again, we're really excited to be here. I'm joined by Matt Oberlin. He's one of the directors from our cybersecurity group. And so together, we're going to tell you a little bit more about SimVentions. Next slide, please. So again, my name is Tiffany Berry. I'm the director of recruiting here at SimVentions. We are a 100% employee-owned Department of Defense contractor. We specialize in the development, integration, and transition of emerging technology to the warfighter. So at present, our primary customer is the U.S. Navy. However, we're starting to expand and diversify our portfolio in the private sector, which Matt's going to expand upon here in a little bit. So we are a DoD cleared facility, and therefore all employees must be U.S. citizens and have the ability to attain a security clearance. Most of our positions are are centered on engineering, software development, and cybersecurity. We do have a highly competitive internship program, and I can answer questions specifically about that in the chat. But I'm going to pass it over to Matt and let him talk to you more about the cyber work we do.
Thanks, Tiffany. All right, so just kind of a quick snapshot here of our locations. The 4 yellow dots kind of represent our headquarters offices, if you will, and then we have little pins of where we have people who are also assisting us, maybe not a SimVentions office there, but they work on programs, and there's actually probably a couple of others, like we have some people in Washington State as well. And but as you can kind of see, we're just over 400 employees now. A little bit about our employees. We have 96% with the secret or top secret, and 78% with secondary education. 20% of our employees are at the customer sites, and one of the things that I really appreciate just from SimVentions standpoint is the retention rate. We definitely like to attract and keep great people, and one of the things we really focus on is having a great environment and a great culture to support that. So hopefully we're doing a pretty good job there. Also, one of the things that I wanted to point out too is we're 28% veterans as far as the workforce. I myself am Air Force Reserve, and so I get to be able to kind of do both jobs here with the Navy as we contract with them, and also support the Air Force on the side. So next slide. Okay, what do we do? So there's quite a bit of areas here. I'm going to focus on the cybersecurity portion, but just wanted to briefly touch on the different opportunities that we have in the other groups that are part of SimVentions. Obviously, systems engineering is a big part of our focus, as well as software engineering and then digital engineering. And some of those kind of merge their way in between the domains, if you will. So we have cybersecurity, where we do the model-based systems engineering, or MBSE, as well, and to ensure that the cybersecurity requirements are engineered in. But so to go over to the bottom right corner, the cybersecurity, most of our current work focuses on the risk management framework. So we have a lot of assessing and accrediting that we do, especially for the Navy systems, but Marine Corps, and some other domains as well for the different DoD. We do the assessment and accreditation mainly of the Navy and Marine Corps systems. The Air Force does a little bit, but their process is somewhat different. I would say the Navy process is probably the most robust, and that's the one that we focus on. We also have some expertise in vulnerability and penetration testing, and look to expand those domains as well in the future. And then also system test planning and execution, making sure that the groups we're working with are able to create good test plans and to make sure that they're finding all of the vulnerabilities and addressing properly. To touch on a little bit what Tiffany talked about is the cyber assessments. So we're working on the private sector to be able to, we actually have a group that's spun up that works with companies, private companies, where we are able to go in and assess them. It's kind of like the same as we would do for our DoD customer, except with a little different requirements, because obviously they're not DoD. So you have that, and then there's also another aspect that we're working on where we're going to assess contractors where they need to have their own systems accredited to make sure that they're able to participate in government contracts. So a lot of different avenues going on there. Wanted to finally bring up this last bullet. One of the things that I think is very important that at SimVentions is the way that we're able to innovate and bring solutions to address unique challenges. Sometimes the government is a little bit harder to have that ability, and they have a lot of different stipulations, but as a contracting company, you're able to kind of be a little bit more agile and enable that innovation to come in and create a solution to a problem that the government might not have been able to field as quickly as the contractor. So that's one of the exciting things that we're able to do. To touch on SimVentions, really, you're definitely a person, not a number here. The camaraderie and the ability to work together and to be able to make a difference for the warfighter as well as our private companies is unmatched. And some of the final things I'll say is that you should be able to go to our webpage, www.simventions.com, and look at the careers. There's some open opportunities here on this slide here. And then if you hit the QR code, that should take you to the different opportunities and you can be able to go there. I will touch a little bit on the internship program. We do have an internship program. I don't have a slide on this, but definitely one of the highlights of the things that I get to do is to be able to work with the interns. And we had a great group this last year. And again, some of it's, you don't get to work with the government customers a lot because of the security clearance requirements, but a lot of the stuff we're able to do with the interns is directly impacts that work. As an example, we have a cyber lab that we've set up that kind of replicates some of the scenarios that we see in the government, where we're able to kind of run scenarios, see how we can answer and address problems, questions, and things. And we had our intern team work on that over this last period, knocked it out of the park. Excellent work. Just had a great time working with them, and looking forward to the next go around. So I think that's probably the last slide for me, but thanks a lot for having us, and looking forward to communicating with you all. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Matt, and thank you, Tiffany, as well. If you have any questions for SimVentions, please feel free to put them in the chat. And we're going to go ahead, last but certainly not least, we are going to bring Shannon from Raymond James up on stage. Hi, Shannon.
Hi, thanks so much for having us today.
Wonderful. We can hear you.
Perfect. Awesome. So we'll go ahead and get started here. You can go to the next slide. My name is Shannon Murphy. I'm one of our campus engagement specialists here at Raymond James. And for those of you on the webinar today, if you could please scan this QR code to check in. This is kind of how my early careers team tracks on the back end. And this is kind of how you can stay in touch with our university team, join our talent community, and kind of how you'll get my contact information directly. And also, again, how we'll follow up from today. But you can go to the next slide. So kind of want to talk about who we are, what we do. So Raymond James, we are a mid-market financial services firm. We were founded in 1962. We are a Fortune 400 company headquartered in St. Petersburg, Florida, which is very close to Tampa, if you're familiar with that area. But we do have other firm locations all across the U.S. and beyond. Just some quick highlights here. So we've had 144 consecutive quarters of profitability, which is about 36 years. So very financially stable, which is certainly an important factor when you're looking for an employer. Firm-wide, we have about 18,000 employees in the U.S. and 1,600 of those are actually in our IT department. So we offer a broad scope of financial services, but really what we do, and simply put, is we're a firm where good people grow. We are on the Forbes list of best employers for new grads, Vault top 10 financial services and IT internship roles. And we've been steadily climbing on the Fortune 500 list over the last few years. So you're probably wondering, what does this mean for me? And you can go to the next slide here. But we do have more than just financial services, right? So typically when you think about a financial services firm, you're thinking, they're hiring bankers and financial advisors and, people who work on insurance policies or maybe in private equity. But we also have our internal IT roles as well, and we have a huge team of those. So certainly opportunity for you all here as well. Going on to the next slide. So our technology ADP program, is really kind of what we are actively recruiting for today. So this stands for Accelerated Development Program, and essentially our internship roles are open right now. So for those of you who graduate in 2026, these applications are open for a summer 2025 internship, and those are live on our website right now. Again, if you check in with the QR code at the beginning, that's kind of how we're going to send out the links, but you should be able to view those again on our careers page. So the internship program is a 10-week program, and it goes into 3 categories. So there's a business analyst track, there's a software development and engineering track, and there's also an information security track. So you can apply to the one that is most fitting for you. If you're interested in one or more, you can certainly apply to 2 or 3. We typically say if you do see any roles on our website that you're interested in, apply to 3 or less, but those are kind of the 3 buckets. I know they're a little bit vague, but essentially through our interview process, we kind of determine what your interests are as a candidate and where you want to be and what you kind of want to be working on. And so we place you within those 3 sectors onto a specific team from your interests. Obviously, we hope to convert our interns into full-time hires. And so after you complete your summer internship, should you be selected, that is, the department that you would go into full-time. And for that first year, that is what we consider our IT ADP program. So you're connected with other individuals in the firm who are going through the same thing as you. That way you kind of have a community. So you'll see at the bottom here, the 3 buckets. Those are kind of the suggested majors that we're looking for each one, but just kind of wanted to do a little bit more of a deeper dive of kind of what you need to be eligible for. So you do have to be working on your 4-year degree, as we do require a completed bachelor's to start working full-time with us. I will say all of our internship roles and most of our full-time IT roles are going to be based in St. Petersburg, Florida. Our internships are paid, and they also have a signing bonus, which a lot of students will use more so as a housing stipend, but how you use that is kind of up to you. In terms of technical skill, we do not require a lot of experience. We are mostly looking for passion, and we feel, it is an internship and we can teach you the rest as long as you have that grit to, really want to learn and you're passionate about what you're studying. And I will say too, a lot of people ask us, is your interview process highly technical? And the answer is, it is not. Obviously, we want to make sure that whatever you're applying to, you do have some background in, but it is not extremely technical by nature. Our interview process, start to finish. If you are selected, first round is going to be a Spark Hire interview. That's a video interview. You might be familiar with these. We always recommend practicing prior to taking them. Next step would be a call with the team, and then final would be just that final interview. So relatively quick process on our end, and we plan to have our intern hiring for the summer of 2025 completed by around Thanksgiving timeframe this year. So just encourage you all to add things to your resume that lie outside of your coursework. If you have a home lab, or, put Cyber Skyline on there, or any CTF events you've participated in, different coding projects that you've worked on or completed, or, if you do Hack the Box on the weekend, any of those things are really valuable experience and things that we want to see as recruiters. And then also for our hiring managers and teams as well. Really quickly, I will just note, I know this is a popular question. Unfortunately, we do not sponsor at this time. I know that we miss out on a lot of great opportunity because of this, but do just want to be transparent on the front end. And then if you do complete that summer internship and you do get a return offer to come back full time, our roles are hybrid. Our internships are also hybrid. And again, most of those full-time IT roles are also going to be based in St. Petersburg, much like the internship program. So just like all the other employers, we've got those a 401k match. Our firm will also pay for any type of certs and continuing education with manager approval. And then, like I said, too, you get placed in kind of that mentorship program called Career Catalyst to support you as you enter into the workforce for potentially the first time. So awesome. That's pretty much everything on my end.
Good excited. Thanks so much, Shannon. I really appreciate you hopping on. And if anyone has any questions for Shannon or Raymond James, please go ahead and put them in the chat. We have about 15 minutes before we wrap up this webinar, so we're going to go ahead and start some Q&A. We do have some questions we pre-identified as we were going through all the presenters. So I'm going to go ahead and read the first question. So the first question is from Rahab, and the question is, are internships for four-year institutions, are these internships for four-year programs or community college programs as well? If we have anyone who would like to answer it from our presenters, please let us know in the chat and we'll pop you up on screen. All right, Melanie, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Emily. And also great question. For CrowdStrike's internships, we do have programs both for, we do hire folks out of four-year programs, but also community colleges as well. Also to highlight our launch program, again, for any students who, for example, are in community college and you're interested in transferring to a four-year institution, and let's say you have 2 years between that time and also getting your bachelor's after the transfer process, you would be eligible for our launch program. So that is one way that we also love to use our launch program. But to also touch on our full-time opportunities, because I did see that an adjacent question, some of our teams also do hire folks out of an associate's program as well. So if that's also something you might be interested in, or if you change your mind down the line, you're looking for full-time instead of internships, that's also something to look into here at CrowdStrike as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Melanie, for hopping in there. Our next question is from Easton, and the question is, do you accept high school students taking college classes? And also we could take the silence that means no or yes. Just let us know if you're able to answer that question. Thanks, Tiffany.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were excited. We actually did a beta this year with some high school students. Now, I will say that that is limited to a particular high school in our region. And that is because they recently achieved a grant for the Cyber 4+ program. And so that means that they're actually coming out of high school with 4 CompTIA certifications to include Security Plus, which is a must-have for our cyber contract. So yes, however, it's not openly available at present. But it was a great use case for expanding that program. So we're hoping to be able to do that in the future.
That's wonderful. What an amazing program. And it goes to show everybody that even if something doesn't exist right now, stay in touch with these companies, stay in touch with these recruiters, have them be part of your network, because you never know when these opportunities are going to flourish and grow from maybe a small pilot like Tiffany was explaining. So even though they may not have it now, they may have it in the future. All right, so the next question I have is going to be from Shelton. And Shelton's question, which I actually saw pop up a lot in the chat, is do you guys offer relocation assistance? Are there any companies that offer relocation assistance that's on our webinar today?
Hi, everyone. I'm sure that a lot of the companies here today do offer some kind of a program, so I'll let them speak to that. But Cipher Tech offers up to $2,000 in relocation reimbursement. So you would pay for eligible things such as your transportation, moving boxes, and there's a huge list. So we pay up to $2,000 that's reimbursed after 30 days of hire and after you've turned in your receipts to our finance department.
Wonderful. Thanks, Kathy. And we also have Hope who wanted to chime in as well. Thanks, Hope.
Hey, yeah, no, I just wanted to jump in that at Tanium, we do offer a housing stipend for all of our interns. And it's a little bit unique. The way that we do it is we offer it regardless of whether you need to relocate or not, because you do recognize that some folks are, they may have a little bit of an insecure housing situation during the summers or whatever that is. So we offer that amount. And it varies depending on the role and the location sometimes, but the recruiter during that first call will discuss that with you. And for full-time, we do not typically offer relocation, but for internships, it just tends to make sense over the summer to have that housing stipend.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Hope. And our next question is from Arvind. The question is, do we need to have specific certifications? And Melanie, take it away.
Awesome, thank you. And also another really great question here. For our internships at CrowdStrike, you do not need to have any certain certifications to be eligible for our roles. Although if you are interested in getting them or you're in progress for any of them, I definitely recommend putting them on your resume. It's a great indicator to the teams that you are dedicating time and effort to pursuing these certifications. Or for example, if any of y'all are pivoting career interests, this is also a great way to showcase on your resume that you are actively taking the steps to pursue a new career opportunity. But yeah, not needed at all. You know, they're expensive. And so we want to ensure that folks are able to, again, get some experience, whether it's through class projects or personal experiences, club work, if you're attending any sort of competitions, or if you're part of NCL, for example. These are all great ways to, again, showcase those experiences in addition to, again, applying for the opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Melanie. And it really goes to show you could really be able to share your experiences in different ways and really show how this could be a part of your career journey. It's like I had mentioned earlier, it's never a one size fits all. So as long as you are relating your experience, that's going to go really, really far. And you don't necessarily have to fit always in a cookie cutter way. So yeah, sounds good. And also, I really like that you did the plug for NCL. Thanks, Melanie. All right, so the next question is from Harold, and his question is, do you have a military transition program? Thanks, Melanie.
Awesome. This is something that, although my team on the university recruiting end, we don't work as closely with, but we are a SkillBridge partner. So for any folks who are looking for any opportunities through SkillBridge, CrowdStrike does hire and have roles specifically for SkillBridge participants. And so when you are looking at our careers page, you might see some roles that have SkillBridge listed in either the job title or maybe the job description. That kind of denotes that this role is only open for folks who are part of SkillBridge. But to my knowledge, that is the only military transition program that we currently have and are also actively building out. We have a pretty active veterans employee resource group, as well as a member on our talent acquisition team who is dedicated to supporting these efforts. So hopefully more to come down the line.
Thank you so much, Melanie. Okay, our next question is from Berenice, and her question is, are internships for undergraduate students only? Thanks, Hope. Hope, you're muted, and it's okay.
Oh,
we're good.
Classic. No, I wanted to jump in on this one because Tanium's programs are designed for undergrads, for internships specifically. But I will say that the reason why we say it's for undergrads is because we're looking for people who don't have a lot of work experience. So say if you're doing like a +1 program, or you're kind of doing a master's degree and a bachelor's degree in one, you would still be eligible in that case. What our internships really aren't designed for is folks who are, like, say they have quite a few years of work experience, they come back and do a master's program. These are just very junior internships. They're not intended for kind of folks at that level. So that's kind of how we think about it here at Tanium. Hopefully that's helpful.
That's very helpful. Thank you so much, Hope. All right, and so our next question is from Skylar. And Skylar's question is, hi, and this one says SimVentions, but I'm actually going to put out to everyone if Tiffany and Matt, if you have an answer for this, but for anybody else as well. And the question from Skylar is, hi, does SimVentions sponsor the secret clearances if you do not have one currently? So that can go for any company that is on with us.
Yeah, great question, Skylar. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, so we do sponsor clearances. So we have some roles that require them in order to start, and some where we will pursue an interim clearance for you while we're waiting for the full investigation. But we do sponsor clearances, yes.
Thank you very much, Tiffany.
Yeah.
All right, so the next question, and we are actually going to be rounding this out with this question. If someone graduated, can they also apply for internships? And that question is from Mahmood. So for example, if you're in a graduate program, a PhD program, are they also eligible for internship programs? Thanks, Hope. Oh, you muted again, Hope. Classic Hope.
What? I'm going to keep doing this, right? But I've noticed some folks in the chats have been, kind of asking some questions around this too. So for us, you do need to be currently enrolled in school to apply for internships. So whether you're finishing a master's and bachelor's degree together, whatever that looks like, you do need to be currently enrolled in school. And the reason for that is if you are graduated, you would be then eligible for full-time with us. We kind of portion those off. Internships are specifically for people in school. And that's what we have full-time for, is for folks who are not in school. And that's just kind of how we think about it here at Tanium. I think a lot of companies are similar.
Perfect. And thank you for clarifying. I know there's always that kind of like in between space from graduating and getting that first job. And wonderful way to explain it. There's really wonderful opportunities, especially on this webinar, that have to do with internships and those entry-level roles, and how there may be a slight difference, but perfectly said. Thank you so much, Hope.
Thank you. And I did want to jump in real quick on further clarification. Some folks are wondering, you need to be currently enrolled in school at the time that the internship starts. So hopefully that helps you.
Thank you. Perfect clarification. All right. Well, folks, we are finished with our questions. I want to make sure that everyone had an opportunity to ask the questions that you wanted to in chat. Hopefully you jotted down the information and the contact info for the companies that presented. We will be sending out that post-event survey in the next couple days. We'd love to hear about your experience on the event, what we can do better, what you enjoyed, but we'll also be sending you a list of the contact information for the companies. So any of the email addresses or the websites that were shared with you on their decks, we will have that compiled in a list as well. I saw a lot of people sharing their LinkedIns and connecting with others. And I implore you that connecting with recruiters is the best thing you possibly do to kind of get yourself in the direction to get more information about companies and to really get an idea of what the opportunities that are out there. But also interacting and networking with those that are part of the NCL community is a fantastic way to grow your network. You all are in the same boat. It's a wonderful way to support each other, to learn about new opportunities through each other. And we really appreciate everyone taking the time to be on our live with us. We sincerely appreciate all the presenters that gave their time and their knowledge to share with our NCL community. We could not do this without you. Thank you so very much. And we hope to see you all on some of our other community events. Spirit Week is going to be coming up in the next couple months, right after the fall competition season. And feel free to also connect with me on LinkedIn, Emily Calandranis, and I'd be happy to connect with you and be able to share opportunities that we have with our partners and our sponsors. So thank you all again. And one last huge thank you to also Franz Payer for taking care of the tech and to keeping us in line. And thank you once again to all the presenters, and we'll see you all soon.